Hey guys, it's Andres with Camp Canine Training. So today I'm going to show you, and this is actually going to be part of a video series that I want to make. And it's just going to be pretty much raising a puppy, right? So there's a bunch of different ways you can raise a puppy. There's a different ways you can raise kids, but I'm going to show you the way I did it with my Belgians. I'm going to show you here with this puppy that I have. So her name's Xena. She is almost 9 weeks now. I picked her up when she was 7.5, and I've done a couple videos already on crate training and potty protocol, which will be uploaded right after this. But the first thing that I want to do is I want to show you why I picked this puppy out. Picking out a puppy is probably the most important thing before we even start training, because a lot of the things that we see on a puppy are going to be genetic, right? So I like to do 6 tests when I pick out a puppy. Picking out a puppy, we want to make sure that we are picking out the right puppy and not the cute puppy, right? A lot of times what I see clients, fosters do is they see a litter of dogs and they're like, oh my god, that's the cutest one, that's the one I want. And a lot of times people end up getting lucky. But sometimes people don't. They end up getting the anxious dog, or the dog that's scared of sounds, fireworks, or the one that's very fearful. So I'm going to show you how to pick up the right dog for you, right? We're going to go over the 6 tests that I like to do, right? So the first test is going to be a food drive test. I want to see how much the puppy is going to eat. I want to make sure that the puppy that I pick has a lot of food drive. And the reason for it is because we're going to do a lot of food training for the first 8 to 9, possibly even 10 weeks, right, before we start introducing corrections. If a dog or a puppy doesn't like food, it's going to be really hard for us to train. So we want to make sure they have a lot of food drive. So when we're doing testing, you just want to grab a couple pieces of kibble, a couple pieces of food, and first see if the puppy eats any of the food, right? I want lots of food drive. See, the puppy's eating and they really want to take it out of your hand. That's what I want to see. I want puppies kind of almost trying to take your fingers off. That means they have a lot of food drive. They're going to eat a lot, right? So that's what I want. If a puppy's not eating, if a puppy's very shy and they're not very wanting to eat, it's going to be really hard to train, right? And it doesn't matter whether they're just 8 or not, right? Puppies are always hungry, so you want to make sure you pick that puppy with a lot of food drive, right? The second thing is going to be a compliance test. I want to make sure that I'm getting a very compliant dog, right? Especially if it's going to go into therapy work or into service work. We want to make sure that it's very compliant. The last thing I want is to train a dog and always have to be on top of it and always have to carry a remote and always have to do things because the dog doesn't want to listen. It's have a mind of its own, right? So the way we do a compliance test is we take the puppy and we flip it upside down, right? And what we're looking for is a nice, calm puppy. If we're looking into like some service type work, right? If we're looking to have a nice, calm pet dog, we want to make sure that when we flip them, they're nice and calm. If they're screaming and they're kicking and they're whining and they're doing everything, they're not going to be very compliant, right? So this is going to be the second test. The third test is going to be a pinch test. So this is kind of goes hand in hand with the first test. We want to make sure that the puppy's eating, right? And if the puppy's eating, then we can do this test. And what this test is called the pinch test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch one of their toenails until I hear a little yelp. And then once I hear it, there you go. Then I'm going to try to feed it. If they take food after I gave them a correction or I pinch them, that means that they don't take corrections very personal. If the dog was taking food during test 1, then I pinch the paw and they don't take food, it means that they're going to take every correction very personal. So they're going to shut down after you tell them no. And that's the last thing I want to do because it's going to be very hard to train a pup that takes everything personal. Oh, well, I can't jump on you. Well, I don't want to work anymore. It's going to make it very hard. So we want to make sure they have a lot of food drive. We also want to make sure that they're going to be not taking corrections personal. So that's what the pinch test is going to do, right? The next thing is going to be a sound test, right? So what you want to do with a sound test is you can have the puppy standing up. It's a little bit better if you have them on the ground. For the sakes of the video, I'm gonna hold a puppy and I'm just gonna grab a kind of a metal kind of device here. And you could do this with pretty much anything. I usually like to use a food bowl, and either I would have the puppy up here or I would have it on the ground and throw this. And what I'm looking for is that the dog doesn't get freaked out. It's not like, oh my god. If we have the puppy on the ground, I don't want the dog that's running away. Because you're going to have 2 types of dogs when you throw the food bowl down. One that runs away, one that turns around and it's like, hey, what is that? Well, what's over there? The dog that runs away is already genetically scared for sounds. So that's the dog that's going to have a tendency to run away during 4th of July. That's the dog that's going to have anxiety during fireworks and all that sort of stuff. The dog that just kind of looks over and is kind of like is interested is not going to be scared, right? So it doesn't mean that the dog that failed, quote unquote, the sound test isn't a good dog. It's just you're going to have to put a lot of work into it. You're going to have to do a lot of noise desensitization, right? And that's something that's genetically already built into the puppy. We're doing these tests between 6 and 8 weeks, right? So it's going to create a lot more work for you, training-wise, if we are taking the puppy that runs away. But the puppy that isn't scared, that's turning around, that's the puppy that we want to work with because it's interested in things, right? The last, or the second to last, so it's going to be the fifth step, the fifth test that we do is going to be an object. So a lot of people like to use an umbrella. You can use other big objects, and all you would do is put the puppy on the floor and pretty much just pop an umbrella in their face. Or you can throw stuff at them and see what reaction we get. We're looking for the same thing. We're looking for the interested puppy that's saying, hey, what is that? We're not looking for the puppy that's like, oh my God, and it's running away. Because then large things, trucks, people, taller people, right? Really big cars, all that stuff is going to scare them later on. Can you desensitize? Can you help them, be comfortable with these things? Yes, absolutely. But it's going to be more work on you. So again, it's not saying that it's the bad puppy. It's that it's going to be a lot more training on your side of things because these are genetic things, right? And the last thing that we like to do during puppy testing is a drive test. I want to see how much drive the dog has. So when I'm training a dog, what I'm specifically looking for is I want to make sure that the dog at least moves and see things. So we can use a rag, we can use a leash, we can use a t-shirt, and we're just going to move it around. And what I'm looking for is that the dog is moving their head and doing things and trying to chase and jump on the toy or the rag or the leash or something. That means the dog has prey drive and wants to chase things. And very quickly we can once we start playing with toys, I can start rewarding them with toys, but they need to have prey drive. And later on we can teach a fetch, and there's a lot of other things that we can start doing, but the dog has to have just a little bit. And all I'm looking for is that they're turning their head and they're chasing it. Even better if they're jumping and trying to bite and grab the tug or the rag or whatever the case may be, right? So those are my 6 tests to pick out the right puppy for you, not the cute one. This one we got lucky because she's cute and smart. So it's gonna be the first video that we're gonna do out of many videos. The next one is gonna talk about selecting the right crate, crate training, bathroom protocols, etc. And then we're going to start talking about later on to healing and to off leash. So Xena here is going to be off leash by the time she's 20 weeks old, right? And I want to show you that it is possible to have a dog off leash that soon with the right protocols, right? But it all starts with selecting the right puppy. So video number 1, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you in a couple days.